Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me, as always, on Mondays is my good friend, Michele Berra. Michele, what's up?
Well, happy Martin Luther King Day to everyone.
Yeah.
I discovered that 15 years ago as well, together with the back-to-back that's about to happen. So this is how my Monday went.
Yeah. Happy MLK Day to everybody. Hope everybody's having an awesome day and enjoying some basketball that just started. That's a fun thing about today is you just got NBA basketball going on all day long. Rockets Sixers is going on right now. It's actually just like a great sports day overall.
Mm-hmm.
You got some big time NFL games today. One that I think kicks off at like 3:30 Central. So some cool stuff. Hopefully the Sixers will continue to pummel the Rockets. That looks good. Let's keep that going. Embiid is back already. Has 26 points in 19 minutes so far against the Rockets, which is insane. Michele looking good. The chat's noticing how good Michele looks. Looks like businessman Michele showed up on the pod today.
Yeah, businessman Michele arrived home like 20 minutes before the initial time of recording. I had like whatever was on my plate, and then no time for change. But yeah,
he's here for the dunkers. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So the Thunder are second in net rating, 9.2 net rating. We're almost like exactly halfway through the season.
Yeah.
They have a 9.2 net rating, which is absurd.
Please repeat it once more.
Absurd. 9.2 net rating halfway through the season.
That's insane.
The best is 9.8 with the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Philly is at an 8.3, just below the Thunder, and then like a big step below them is the Wolves and Nuggets, who are at like 5.5, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big deal. Thunder are third in defense and fourth in offense. Thank you, Blazers, for the little bump that they gave the Thunder the other night in just like an absurdly bad game. And then Orlando, who it was I think that the way that it was termed from Mark is that it was a rock fight, or maybe that was Gallo, but like that's definitely like a very thundery thing to say. It's like this sort of rock fight. It was a kind of a brutal game to watch, honestly, for the most part, but the Thunder pulled it out. Shea was unbelievable in that game, 37 points. You know, continues on this like crazy streak of steals. He had 3 steals in that game. He was unbelievable. He is questionable tonight against the Los Angeles Lakers, and I'll check his status throughout this to see if anything changed. I doubt it will change now. It'll probably be more of like a game time type of decision to see whether he plays or not. But any leftover thoughts from that Magic game before we get into the main event here?
Yes, the main event. I want to say 2 very stupid things, but these are the first that come to my mind. The first one is I love the fact that even if OKC was shooting badly from 3, they kept it going. I mean, Cason Wallace had 5 looks. He took them all. He was out of 3 or out of 4. He decided to keep shooting the ball. Now, probably 4 threes. I don't remember if one was a long 2, but anyway, it was no not taking a good shot and turning into a charge, stuff like that. So it's a good shot. I'm a good shooter. I will take it. And I like this mentality from Kazan, because this was one of the issues of shooting guards of the past for OKC. Lou Dort is definitely this like this guy who will keep shooting if good shots will be given to him. And I like that Kazan is doing that as a rookie. The second thing is I read a lot of tweets. One was from Steve Jones that a certain team was able to win one way. And I think that this game showed to everybody that even on a game where the 3 ball is not going, OKC is able to win in a different way, generating a different kind of offense, being better defensively. And so I really like the fact that, yes, if the three ball goes in, OKC is unstoppable. But if that doesn't comes to fruition, and you have a team that is defending hard, like the Magic, who is a very good defensive team, then OKC is able to win those games pretty comfortably anyway, which is such a great sign. And
Mhm.
I think that the main takeaway is that uh, we have a very good team, a very, very good team in
Yeah.
front of our eyes. And clearly other teams in the West are great. I saw almost the entire game between the T-Wolves and the Clippers. Those teams will be hard to beat in a playoff setting. But
Hmm.
them play and say, "Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, this will be hard in the playoffs as well." And so this is to say, OKC will have a shot against those teams because they play so well, and they have three, 3.5, sometimes 4 great players on the court that you have to account for.
Hmm. Yeah, it's absolutely true. And it all starts with Shea, who is still listed as questionable tonight with a right knee sprain. Anthony Davis is listed as probable with a left ankle injury. LeBron is questionable with a left ankle injury. Cam Reddish is out with a
Too
left
bad.
knee injury. D'Angelo Russell is questionable with a non-COVID illness, and then Gabe Vincent is also out. He had knee surgery, so could be interesting even without Shea. You know, there's interesting moments where, and this happened kind of the first go around too. Like if Durant missed time, you're like, okay, you're like curious, like, okay, now what? Now what does the team look like? Because
Mhm.
you have all these possessions that go to Shea, and you watch guys like Dub and Chet. You're like, hey, like those guys could take more possessions,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. And what does it look like if they do? I mean, clearly you don't want to not have Shea. You would never really want that. But there
Mhm.
is like this some curiosity about um, what the team could do without him. And they all like they played without him earlier in the season. A couple times they without him against the Warriors and like all like nearly beat the Warriors
Yeah.
without him. So you know we know what it looks like. The Lakers are in the midst of struggle, but the Thunder are a team that they clearly have kind of circled a little bit. And know the Thunder blew them out the time before the last game, but they played them really tough in their
Yeah.
last meeting in Oklahoma City and beat them. So a lot of it will depend on LeBron. A lot of it depends on Shea. You know
A
what
lot
all
of
that.
depends on the Lakers shooting 87% from 3.
Yeah, I wouldn't count on that again.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think the Thunder are going to shoot as poorly as they did against Orlando. You know,
Yeah.
so the Thunder are one of the better teams on the road. You have this Lakers Clippers back to back. It's a tough one. Luckily, you don't have to travel. You just get to stay parked somewhere. So that's good. But a very interesting test for the Thunder,
Mhm.
who have largely just been awesome, you know. And I think it's funny, like the cycles that we've been through with this team so far this season. It's only been half a season, but like you know, you start the season and you kind of hear, you know, not necessarily us, but like more like national media, like okay, the Thunder need to make a trade for a big star. Like they have all these pieces, you know, they could trade a young player and picks for a star. Great. Then it's like, okay, well, maybe they just need to trade for a starting level player. Maybe not necessarily a star, but a starting level player. Great. Then you get to like this point in the season, it's like, you know, the Thunder probably just don't need to do anything at all. You know,
Maybe
they're
someone off the bench
they're good
if
the
the
way
right
they
opportunity arrives.
go. And still people are like, well, they need to trade for a big that can rebound and all of that, which I get it. Like I get the idea that maybe you would do that, but like my pushback would be like if they were to trade for like just a big that was like a great rebounder and didn't do a whole lot else, like that guy wouldn't play. That guy wouldn't
Yeah.
play for this team. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit more. But it's just funny. And is it possible the Thunder go like 1-3 on this trip? Yeah, it's totally possible. Then like we may enter a new cycle where it's like, well, maybe we're back to the beginning where it's like they need to trade for a star. I just think like this is a really really good basketball team, and there's going to be bumps in the road as they go. Like this is one that you could like pretty easily circle and say, okay, like if there's ever going to be a stretch where they lost 3 out of 4, on the road, back-to-back LA, Utah is rolling right now. Minnesota is really good. They only won one of those. Like, would that be shocking at all? Like, wouldn't shock me one bit if that were the outcome. But also like 2-2, they could go 3-1. Like, this team is capable of beating all those teams.
Yeah.
Like, we know they're capable of it, but they're also capable of losing these games, especially if they don't have Shea, which will be like the major thing is like, does Shea play in this back-to-back? Well, we don't know. I'm sure that they don't even know yet. But I'm interested to find out, interested to see who plays tonight. That'll be a big deal, especially if like LeBron can't go, then, be the Austin Reeves show and the Thunder should win no matter if Shea plays or not. So
Yeah.
we will see. I'm very interested to find out what happens here. Okay. Anything else before we move on to the trade rankings here?
No, let's go into the deadline. I just want to get to the list. I mean, I've been listening to you talking with the other guys about this. I have my thoughts, so let's get into that.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the list. I have it here on the stream. This would be a good time if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel. It'd be a good time for you to do so because we're going to have the list here available and we're going to kind of shape it a little bit as we go. So I made this list. I put it out on Twitter. I'm asking, like, are there any other players, anybody else you can think of? Brandon Clark was one, and we can add Brandon to the end here. I thought that's at least interesting. I don't know exactly what they would give back for Brandon Clark, but we can talk through that a little bit. But that was an interesting name that was brought up. Like Markkanen's not getting traded. Like, are we, if the Jazz were in the same class as like San Antonio, where it's like, yes, there's no way San Antonio like sniffs the play in. Like, no, like they're in the play in like right now, like as we speak. So they're not, they're just flat out not trading him. So like that ship has officially sailed. He's not going on the list. It's like we can talk hypotheticals about, what would happen if this, that. Like they're not trading Markkanen, who like honestly is going to have a chance to be an all-star again. I don't know if he'll actually make it, but he's going to be on the list of players that could be all-stars. So
yeah.
Jeremy Grant makes way too much money to go on this list.
Yeah.
He's another one that, and he's also, and I think Alex is the one who like brought this up to me first. It's like, Jeremy Grant's an awful rebounder.
Yeah. And if you want Jeremy Grant to play in a fast-paced drive-first offense, no. Have you ever watched Jeremy Grant play? Like he is turned himself into a decent like 2 dribbles, take a jumper or just open jumper kind of stuff, which is nice. He can get buckets. He can drive sometimes, but the ability to make quick decision, reacts, pass. No, that's not who he is. And I mean, even guys that are wired like that, like Mitsic, it took him a while. We were discussing before the pod, me and Andrew, like it takes a while, even for a guy very smart, very capable passer. I would say amazing passer. To really learn how to fit in a team where you have to drive, you have to move, the ball doesn't have to stick. Like in Jeremy's hands, the ball will stick a lot.
It sticks for sure. Yeah, he is not equipped to like play the style of offense. That'll be like another theme is like talking through, because I think it's incredibly important to like realize how important style of play is. And I got to ask Mark about it after the game. I was just kind of curious, like where did the idea for the style of play come? Was it because of the players? Is it like something that they envisioned before? Because they like drafted particular players, and I'm sure that there's like a lot more nuance within it than he could give me in like a 1-minute answer like he gave me.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought he gave a great answer, and that it was something that has kind of continued to evolve. But like the one thing we know is like if you can't like shoot, pass, and dribble, and also think the game at a high level, you're not going to play on this team, and so there'll be guys that I think will like bump down this list significantly just because I don't think they can play that style. And also it would take a while. Like you implement this, it's more than halfway through the season. Like we're halfway through the season now, basically, for most teams. And you get to February, you don't have that much time to implement a new player, especially like a player that's going to play a big role. Like we just don't have, there's just not time to do it. And so that to me is another thing. Like I think Sharch was a good one, and a one that like belongs in this list again because he did play in their system and played in it pretty well and could think through how to play through it, pretty quickly, which is good. It's like those kind of guys are the ones that I think you can try to implement here. So, okay. So we'll just go down this list and we're going to try to develop some kind of order. If someone like really sparks interest in you as like a trade candidate, we can kind of work through what a trade might look like to get them. But if they don't, then we'll just like bump them down the list. We'll start with Al Horford. He'll be the number one on this list. Harford. Al Horford. Thoughts on Horford? Is that somebody that you would be interested in at all?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a guy like that will be able to pick it up pretty quickly. He was part of the first iteration of Dagnall as a coach. He's no mystery that he's a very smart player. And I think that he would be completely fine in playing 15, 12, 16, whatever.
And sometimes none, because like the reality is one of the better lineups on this team is with Kenrich at the 5. And they play with they use him there all the time. And so like we can't ignore that. They're not going the Thunder know. Like they know that they are making the rebounding sacrifice. They know that.
Yeah.
And ultimately, if the Thunder don't win the championship this year, the people that are screaming about rebounds are going to be correct in that a series that they lose, they're going to lose the rebounding by a lot. Probably. They're probably going to lose every series or lose every rebounding battle in every series, no matter if they win or lose a series, by the way, because that's just like the way that they have decided to play. So like the people that are screaming about rebounds are ultimately going to be right because they're going to be able to frame it however they want. But like the truth is, like the Thunder are making that sacrifice, and so far they've been right to do it.
Because sure. I don't think
9. We talked about like a 9+ net rating halfway through the season, and they've decided to like they're going to make some sacrifices here and there, and rebounding is one of them. Like man, like it's what they're doing is like working to like a massive degree, and so to me, I don't think that they're going to go into this trade deadline thinking like, gosh, we just need to get somebody. And Andre Drummond was somebody that's brought up. I don't even have him on the list. I don't even have him on the list, by the way. Like that's the kind of guy that they would never, ever be on this team.
Yeah.
Never, ever. So, anyway.
But I think the Horford gives you a little bit of flexibility. And yes, they went small a lot, but against teams like the Nuggets and sometimes the Sixers or the Lakers, if you can get 5-10 minutes of good Al Horford with the second unit, and sometimes against the T-Wolves, the best way was to go small and force Naz Reid not to hide on a guy like Horford. But against like other teams, you may want Horford to be the Jokic defender so that Chet can swat left and right. Yeah. And Horford's shot is a major problem in the playoffs because people will not guard him. But I still like I would rather have him than not. Let's put it this way.
Yeah. And he can play in Mark's system. He can figure it out. He's smart enough. He has a veteran presence. I think I brought this up the other day. He is the same age as Derek Fisher was when the Thunder brought in Derek Fisher.
Yeah, nice.
Which is like a fun fact. That's all. Okay, Mikal Bridges. Would you put him above or below Al Horford?
I think that depending on the price, he would be above or below. I think that I would not overpay for a guy like Mikal for the right price. Yeah, it's
okay. Like realistically, I don't think that the Nets are going to move Mikal Bridges at the deadline.
Yeah,
it could happen. Like it certainly could happen. I mean, realistically, Josh, Kaysen,
2 first, 3 first.
and 3 firsts.
Yeah, that's too much. And suppose that somehow you can do it without sacrificing your core players, even the Giddy and Kazan. Then it's back with the how would that fit? Because Mikhail
Yeah.
seems pretty fine in having a role that is a bigger than role player, and he
Mhm.
would definitely be that. Because fourth quarter, I want the ball in J-Dub's hands,
Mhm.
and the rest it's going to be Shea. So
Mhm.
it would be a pretty. I would need a pretty strong commitment from Mikhail, and I think that yes, if it's defensively to a T, offensively also, but not to a T.
Yeah,
The
it would
shooting
take
is
some
great.
time to implement
Yeah.
him into what they do, because I mean, he would come in and be a starter in this scenario. I just don't think that you'd be giving up a lot to get him, and I'll put him below Horford just because of that, because I
Yeah.
just don't think realistically it's time for something like that to happen. And maybe this summer, a big swing like that happens whenever
Mhm.
they realize, or there becomes a player that's just like perfect that's available for them. I
Yeah.
think Mikhail's really good. I don't know that he's perfect, but he's like pretty darn close to it as like a switchy wing defender that can really shoot it, that can shoot at the mid range too. I mean, it's not hard to imagine what it would look like, but when we're talking about like how realistic it is, I think you bump him below Horford and the
Yeah.
cost too. I just don't think the Thunder are ready to pay that price. Also, with Giddy has stepped up in like big games for them. Go
Yeah.
back and watch the Boston game from this year. Like he was really good in that game. Go back and watch the play-in tournament game against the Pelicans. He was really good in that game. Like he has stepped up in meaningful moments for this team, and I would be floored if the organization didn't think to themselves, I want to see what he looks like over the course of a 7-game series.
Yeah.
Like
And again,
how does he show up? And does he show up like he has in these other big moments where it's like, holy smokes, like Josh is like one of our like 3 or 4 most important guys. If he does that, then great. Like you know that you like really have something, but you don't know until you know.
yeah. Yeah, and they changed a lot their rotations. Over the course of the season, they tried most with Shea, most with Dub, most with Chet and Dub. Now it's a little bit more with Shea and playing a lot the starting unit, which by all numbers, that is a great unit. So it's maybe not the best unit for the Thunder, but it's still a very good unit. So I think
Mhm,
that and also Giddy solves part of your rebounding issues, which like
mhm,
him not being effective on that end of the court was partially the reason why they were so ineffective. Now
mhm,
there are still some issues in terms of defense and in terms of being like being a player that provides gravity. But
mhm.
again, he's on track
Yeah.
again.
Yep. Okay. Royce O'Neal.
Can we put the 3 and 4 in the bucket? I think that
Royce O'Neal, Dorian
DFS,
Finney.
yeah,
Yeah.
those are nice players to add. Probably I would rather have DFS first and then Royce O'Neal. Probably DFS below Orford, yes, because Bridges is really not doable. Um, Royce O'Neal, I mean, sure, he's a vet that can play, but can I say that he's a little bit? Would he play above Wiggins?
Yeah, I think in the playoffs he would.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Like
sure.
defensively, he's better. Offensively, he's not better than Wiggins.
He's a better passer than Wiggs is.
He's a much worse cutter than what Wiggins is.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know
And
much.
and shooting wise, the like Wiggins has been very good.
Yeah,
Like
Wiggs has been good.
very, very good.
Yeah. D- will will the will the coaching staff trust Wiggins in a playoff series? They don't trust
That
him.
they didn't last year. They will this year. He's pretty steadily in the rotation and he's getting good minutes. And again, like being better or worse than Wiggins doesn't mean that he plays in the playoffs because I mean,
I know.
it might be that he is not in a playoff rotation anyhow. He provides size. If you play the Clippers, having or not having Royce O'Neal may make a little bit of a difference because you you can't ask the Case and Wallace to be effective against Kawhi, but you can
Uh,
ask Royce O'Neal to do that.
yeah, that's. I mean, I'm not like. I think he could fit into the way they play. If I'm
Mhm.
looking at players, I think O'Neal fits better than Finney-Smith does
Really?
with the way that totally.
Mhm.
I think the adjustment period would take longer for Finney-Smith. Is the ceiling higher with Finney-Smith? Yes. Is the adjustment period longer with Finney-Smith? Yes. Does it cost more for Finney-Smith? Yes. He's got a longer deal that is like very, very like one of the best value contracts in the league. Royce O'Neal's expiring. I think it'd be easier to acquire O'Neal than it would be Dorian Finney-Smith. But
Okay.
I would get why you'd put him above because like having like defensively, I don't see it. It's obvious how he'd fit there,
Mhm.
and you can even bring him off the bench, if you needed to. But and Royce O'Neal would obviously come off the bench. But Finney-Smith defensively fits in easy. Offensively, I think it's gonna be a lot harder for him to fit in.
Yeah.
With regards to like he doesn't handle, you know. He's
Very
not
little. Just straight line drives.
he's not somebody who makes like good passing reads, you know. But we can keep him there for now. Cam Johnson.
I love the
No,
fit. I think he would be plug and play from day one. Yes, passing is not the first thing that comes to your mind when you discuss Cam Johnson, but
mhm,
he's decent enough. And again, he moves around pretty well. He's not a great rebounder nor a great defender,
mhm,
but boy, oh boy, the spacing that he will provide, it's just insane. I would put him one on this list because I think that he can be had for probably the right price. And I mean, it's not a secret. In 2 years, in 1 year, 1.5, I don't know. You have to pay Isaiah Joe pretty
yeah,
substantial money. Kim
yeah,
Johnson is a great insurance to that,
yeah,
and I think that he may be um, a player that you can play in some lineups with Isaiah Joe.
yeah.
And can you imagine the
Because of
spacing?
his size, you can.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'd bump him up too. I don't know if he's available. I don't know that he's somebody that was like actually going to hit the trade market. But yeah, I mean, it's not rocket science that putting guys like that around um, Shea helps. And so,
yeah,
yeah, I'd put him at the top two. I do think there would be an adjustment period that would exist with Cam too, but I think he's better suited than DFS for sure to like fit into like the way that the Thunder play because I do think he's developed his skills pretty well. I
yeah,
like the way that he has just developed in the league. So yeah, I like him the best as well. Is he like a seamless fit? Like probably not seamless, but I think that you could, you know, take a
While
few
he
weeks.
learns, though, while he learns the deeds, he's still going to hit 44% of his threes. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and he's
so
gonna get like the most wide open shots he's ever gotten.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, like he will invoke panic into the hearts and minds of opposing teams and their coaching staffs
yeah,
because of what he could do. Because if he's wide open after like Shea drives, passes, Shea drives after a screen from Chet, who dishes it to J Dub, who drives again, and now the whole opposing defense is just like completely tilted, and then you throw it over to Cam in the corner who's wide open, and it's like, what are you supposed to do? I mean, we see it all the time with Isaiah Joe. It's like, how did the Thunder get all these wide open shots for Isaiah Joe?
yeah.
It's like because they just churn. The offense just churns.
And there are very little spots to hide
Yeah,
from. So
totally,
it's
totally.
and if you add Cam Johnson, like where do you hide?
Yeah. Okay. We'll start moving through these a little bit quicker. Nick Claxton. I mean, to me, he's at the back of the list for now.
I'm a little bit higher on Nick.
All right.
I know that
Talk me into it. Talk me into it.
I,
I don't want to pay him, number one. I don't want to be the
yeah,
team.
that's the big bummer. The big like stop for me is the money that I think he will demand. Granted, it's not that he will be paid north of 20 millions. I mean, who's going to pay him? There are too many centers. So if you can get him to a reasonable deal, like Dort-like deal, now your question is why are we paying a backup center?
Why are we paying a guy who's a backup center who honestly may not play every game?
You're right. This is the topic, but depending on the price, like what is the price for you?
I don't. I
Two
wouldn't.
seconds?
Oh, oh no, no, no. You need to give up a first for him. In which case I'm
Why?
not. Like I'm not doing it.
Why?
So
He's a
some
much worse. Yeah, yeah. Some people who like which team will pay a first for Nick Claxton, knowing that he's restricted and he wants like big
or
money.
or it'd be maybe 4 or 5 seconds probably. I mean, Jay Crowder went for 5 second-round picks last trade deadline.
Yeah, but Jay Crowder is a coveted player. Like Nick Claxton will not be. Like, would you
He's a
rent him?
young player on a controllable contract.
It's not controllable.
I mean, he's restricted.
Yeah, yeah, sure. It's controllable. Yes, you can definitely keep him if you want.
Yeah.
Um, so my point is, what if you pay 3 second-round picks plus Jang for Nick Claxton? I'm not suggesting to do it, but what happens if he bails in free agency?
I get it. It's not that big of a deal if he
And,
does.
and to me, like Claxton can be a guy that provides a little bit of passing, a little bit of hey, I know what to do, I know where to be. He when he was in college and we scouted him, we discussed him as a player that could be like versatile as a big man, not just rim running and doing a couple of things. And he's a
Mhm.
great defender. So I'm not sure that I would really pay that, but I'm not as against that as you are. I wanted to discuss just that. That if they do it, I kind of understand why
Yeah, I would
they would
love
not do it.
I would not do it. I would not do it. I don't wanna pay him. I don't think he would play all that much on this team, to be honest. I get the appeal of him. I also think it would take the adjustment period for him would take some time.
Mitsic will make him look like I don't know, prime Moses Brown, something like that.
Okay.
Okay, you can put him sixth.
Great comp.
Seven, I don't want to talk about Jakob.
Jakob
Not my
Poeltl?
thing. No,
Yeah, I don't
no.
either.
Same with Otto Porter. Why is he on the list? That
Dude,
was the most perplexing name. Like
Otto Porter,
just because it was number 8 and you like to do it. I don't know.
I'm just throwing any guy that, like, could be had at the trade deadline
Do you
who
know that Otto in Italian means 8?
Oh, it does.
Yes, it
Well,
does.
yeah, of course I knew that. That's why I
Yeah,
did.
you did it on purpose. Okay.
How many minutes has he played this season, Otto Porter?
5?
I know he hadn't played a whole lot. He's played 174 minutes.
Wow, that is 169 more than I thought.
34% from 3. Yeah. Yeah, he's at the back of the list. Okay, Bruce Brown. This is now we've hit like, okay, this is kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Bruce Brown. What are your thoughts on Bruce Brown and where would you put him on this list?
Why are we thinking that he's gettable?
Just because Indy's underperformed a little bit, and he only has 1 year left on his deal.
Yeah, he signed like a 2-year deal.
Yeah, he signed a 2-year deal.
I don't know. I think that he would need to jump 2 guys in the rotations that I don't want him to jump. Like I
Okay.
want Kazan to get minutes. I really like what Mitsic is bringing. Now,
Mhm.
of course, if you can get him, he would be probably better in the playoffs, and he's a multi-tool guard. But OKC
Mm.
doesn't really need a multi-tool guard. So why would you pay a guy like this? Like pay for a guy like this?
Yeah, I mean he's a guard, but you can play him in any position you want.
No,
Yeah.
come on. You can play 1, 2, 3. Well, not one because clearly he's not like a true point guard.
You can play him 2
He's
through 4.
I don't buy that.
He's strong. Dude is
Yeah,
strong. He's
yeah,
27.
yeah. No.
Okay, Bertans and a first.
Yeah, sure, but just because OKC has an excess of picks, and like, why? who is suffering for those minutes?
What do you mean?
Who's be left out? Like Mitic, Wiggins, and part of Kazum minutes?
Probably, yeah.
Why are you doing this to me, to us, to
Just because
Mitic, to
you see an
Massa?
you see an opportunity in the West to go to win.
I don't think that he would actually improve your odds in
Wow,
such
we
a
got a
way.
hater in the house. So where would you put him?
Third, fourth. I don't know.
Before or after DFS? I think it's kind of an important line there. I think he would acclimate
I
to what
would actually pay just 1 and 2. I would not do any other of the other trades. Maybe we just put Royce O'Neal there, but it's wrong. It needs to be put a little bit higher. Like,
Royce higher.
yeah,
I
I
kind of
don't
think
think
so.
that. Yeah. You can flip flop him in DFS. I don't have any strong opinion on that. To be
Yeah,
completely honest with you.
yeah. I kind of think that Royce is just a better fit
Yeah,
with the Thunder,
but
especially for
I don't
Jack.
think that Bruce Brown will dramatically change the odds. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
of course, he's an injury. He's an injury blanket. Sure, like
Mhm.
if a guy like Dort misses time and you have Bruce Brown, then sure,
Mhm.
he would be. But like, would you start him instead of Dort? No. Then he relegate a guard like Case and Wallace can provide good minutes in a playoff series.
Mhm.
Maybe a few. Like
Mhm.
it's just playing great. And again,
Mhm.
even if those two players are just
He's
non-starters
playing
for the playoffs,
better. He's playing better.
yeah. But even if like you can legitimately play just Dort, Giddy, Shea, and Isaiah Joe, and you have enough guards.
Yeah. I get it. I just don't think of Bruce Brown as necessarily he's only a guard.
Okay.
And I get his height designates him as that, but the way he plays doesn't necessarily. Danny Reich Jr. gives us a super chat. Thanks for that. Of the players on the final list, which team do you want to start losing so that the player is available via trade? And I think just the Nets, losing more games right now.
Yeah. Yeah, that would help quite
That
a
would be
lot.
the one where it's this team is absolutely going nowhere, and if we don't do anything, we'll look dumb, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And I think they're going to do something for sure. Okay, Patrick Williams.
Pass.
Yeah, you gotta. I would have him probably in the same, maybe right after DFS. To me,
No.
you where would you have him?
Like below Claxton.
Okay,
I
I think
just
that's.
I just don't like him. I just don't like anything that he does. Like he's the idea of him is nice.
Oh
Just
yeah,
like
6'8" wing that can shoot and defend multiple positions. Of course, yeah, that's what everybody's looking for.
maybe defend and possibly shoot one day.
Yeah, he is definitely theoretical. I think he's had some really good moments. But yeah, he is also about to get paid, and there's already been some
Paid.
uh,
Like,
thoughts
yeah,
about
sure.
how much he'll get paid or how much he wants to get paid.
That's
And
not the story.
it doesn't match up with how he has been on the court. So yeah. His teammate Alex Caruso.
I would put it in the same ballpark as Bruce Brown. So 3 and 4. I
That'd
think
be
that these are
below
very
Bruce
good players that can work as insurance for injuries and stuff like that. He's probably a good fit with the team, but I mean, you would likely need to bump down Kazan and or maybe even Dort to some degree to play Caruso. And I don't think that the marginal advantage that Caruso can give you on some nights is really what will make you go over the hump if you're investing resources to get them, both him and Bruce Brown. If again it's a couple of seconds, sure you can do anything.
It's
Like
not a
just
couple of seconds. It's a couple of firsts. That's already
no,
been reported.
I don't think that is that is the asking price. This is will not be probably the price that anyone will pay. But yeah,
Then he will stay. He will stay a bull. Would be my
great.
would be my guess. Yeah, I'm not a fan of acquiring him either. I don't think he's enough of an upgrade.
Yeah.
Because he does the same stuff that Dort and Kaysen do.
Yeah.
Like
With a
how
little
much
bit more experience, maybe. He can get away with stuff that maybe Kaysen will not get away with.
Yeah, Kaysen. Yeah. I just don't know how much better is he than and he's a little better than Dort, but
I would listen to this. I do think that Dort is better this season. Quite substantially better than him.
well, yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think so. Like Lou has learned how not to be detrimental to the offense, which was
Yeah.
number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 on the list of problems that he has.
Yeah.
And now he's making most times than not very good decision. And
Mhm.
one thing that I really love about Lou Dort as of late is the way in which he takes the contact, wait a little bit, and then pass or shoot the basketball when he's getting at the rim. This
Mhm.
makes so much difference because
Mhm.
he has a split of a second more to just do a thing.
Mhm.
And I really love that. So I think that Lou had like a very clear issue that over like 40 games right now, 38 games, he solves almost entirely.
Yeah. He's been
Again,
incredible. He's been
yeah.
incredible.
So
Like
why are you reducing his minutes? Now, he's not a guy that will foul out really frequently. So
Yeah.
I just play Lou Dort.
All right. I'm just bumping Caruso down the list.
Yeah, just maybe fifth. Yeah, that were okay.
Yeah, 7th. I just don't think they would trade for him. Like I just don't
Yeah.
think realistically because of how good Lou has been. And Caruso, he has another year left at about 10 million. Then he's going to get paid, like paid by somebody.
I'm not sure paid, but paid more than
He made
10
more
years.
than Lou, 17 million.
We'll see.
Oh, we will see.
We'll see. Yeah, maybe someone will pay, and then
Someone will pay him more than that, especially by the time that contract rolls around. There's a new TV deal in. There's all these. I mean, like
yeah,
the
maybe Detroit will pay. Detroit
Dort,
can pay tomorrow.
dude, Detroit's opening up some cap space. Just wait.
Yeah, to get Bruce Brown and Alex Caruso.
That's right. Yeah, Dort in 26-27 has there's a team option on 17.7 million in 26.
That right now looks like a very, very good deal.
Oh, it's a great deal. It's a wonderful deal. Yeah. That's why I bump him down the list. I like Caruso. I think he's a great player, but not necessarily for this team, and especially not right now. Okay, Torrey Craig, he can go in the Otto Porter zone.
Yeah.
I just don't. I even less than Porter, just because like I believe in his shooting less. Okay, Bojan Bogdanovic from the Pistons.
No defense whatsoever. And just I don't know. I was a believer a couple of years ago that he could fit with the team. Sure, put him even above Patrick Williams, just because I mean I really don't like Patrick Williams. But no, please no. And no, I'm not a believer on Isaiah Beef Stewart. Yeah, you can sell me on the grid. You can sell me on the maybe shooting. But do you really expect Beef Stew to run like multiple DHOs, maybe like cutting, relocating? No,
We're like DH. No.
DH. No. Yes. Jonathan Isaac. Oh, like the defense. I love the defense. The potential defense.
Giant. I was on the court before the Magic game, and I was watching guys warm up and like stood next to Jonathan Isaac. That dude is a monster. He's giant.
What's the price?
I don't know.
Is he for free just to try him out? Like the shoes on any like website? Like that you can try it out and then return them?
Ownership loves him apparently.
Yeah, I would not pay it first.
Yeah, they're probably not just gonna give him up.
Because like just as a tryout, sure.
He plays limited minutes for the Magic as is. Like he doesn't play like starting level minutes. He has 2 years left or a year left after this one at 17.4. Like it's affordable. Like he could basically. What if it was Bertans in 3 seconds?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Those deals are fine.
Yeah, I do. I think so too. Where would you put him in this? Like above Caruso?
Yeah, I think that. I mean,
Below
to me,
DFS?
the four above is the ones that I would actually do. And
Yeah.
if the price is Bertans and a couple of seconds, then I would actually do it because that is a thing that OKC can surely afford, and you keep the salary slot going with
Yeah.
Bertans, which is very important,
Mhm.
and you pay very little to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It would take some time for him to acclimate to the team, I think, because I mean, he's never played this style, that I
yeah,
can
but
even in college.
he doesn't need to be ready for this year. You can just ease him out, ease him in, playing him instead of like learning if you can trust Jeng, which answer this season has been no. And you just play him 5, 8, 10. He will provide good defense, good enough defense, and maybe he will hit some open shot.
Yeah. I I'm less of a believer. He is giant, and the defense stuff is, like, really intriguing, especially, like, if you could put him next to Chet,
Just for 5 minutes.
and
Where
it's just
where do you score?
it's like, "Whoa." Like, I mean, it could be cool, but I'm less of a okay, Wendell Carter Jr.
If you asked me this 5 years ago, I would say yes. He's the new Al Horford. I don't know. It's just whatever today.
I kinda have bo I would rather have Claxton than Wendell Carter.
Yeah,
Also
yeah,
stood next to Wendell Carter, maybe the biggest head on a human being I have ever
yeah,
seen. It was it was jarring, but he's a good player. I I he that kind of big, I just can't imagine them playing on this team.
yeah,
Like, I
yeah. I
just can't
agree.
I can more imagine Claxton because he's, like, way more mobile and he can do a little bit more with the ball, and Carter can do some stuff with the ball too. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Also, like, he, has been in and out with injuries. He doesn't necessarily start on the team that he's on anymore.
Yeah.
And, like, the Thunder, he obviously would not
Goga
start.
Bitadze starting over him, which fine. It was fine.
He's fine. He's yes. I mean, that's the canary in the coal mine for Wendell Carter is that Goga has taken his spot. It's not great. What about Bogdan?
I
Bog
love Bogdan. I love
yeah,
Bogdan Bogdanovic. I would trade not a first, but like I would really consider him because he would fit like a T. I think that he would learn in like 10 seconds to play the
yeah.
way Mark wants to play. He's a great shooter. Bogdan
Mhm.
is a great shooter, and I think that in the right like framework, he's also very good defensively and
Great shooter,
smart.
good passer. Where would you
Yeah.
put him?
Um, top 3, I think.
Wow. I
Yeah,
don't
I love him.
disagree. He would learn, and he's a, older than you think all-star for sure. He's
92.
31.
Yeah, born
He's
in 92.
31.
Yes.
Um, but I think I agree. I like the fit, and I think he's gettable. I think you probably would have to give a first for him, but
Yeah,
he would play.
Atlanta is one of those teams that will lose a lot, and they would just we need to shed salary somehow.
Yeah,
Please help us.
and the rest of his contract is really good. It's descending actually. It's 18 this year, 17 the year after, 16 the year after, and then in 26, 27, a $16 million team option. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
really
that
nice
that's
deal.
for that. I would probably give up a first.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd
I
have
just love
to.
Bogdan.
Yeah, he's good. He would fit here so well, so well. But he would probably take Mitsic's all of his time, like Porzingis.
Um, no, he would play another role. He would play like more than he would be a little bit more difficult to fit. I think that I don't know. Mark will figure out because he'll play like all the Wiggins minutes for sure.
Yeah, he'll
And
take Wiggins. He'll take. I mean, he'll take some of Kayson's, and he'll take some of Baba.
yeah, sadly, yes.
And he's a guy that you have to play a lot because he's good.
Yeah.
Like Bogdan's really good. Okay. Next on the list, Clint Capella.
No.
Is he above or below the Pirtle zone?
Above, because he's a better player than Pirtle, I think, or just same
I don't know
ballpark.
that I agree, but they're in the same zone, and so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but I trust Clint Capella to do. Yeah, they're in the same zone. You're right. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
He's cheaper, I think, though.
He'll be cheaper. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see where are we at. Oh, Onyeka Okongwu.
Same ballpark as Claxton.
Yeah, I
Yes,
agree.
like him, but not really.
I might put him below Claxton just because I like the way that Claxton, and I like Claxton's like length is better than Okongwu is. But great name, Onyeka. You know anybody else named Onyeka?
No.
All right. Well, maybe you should be above Claxton for that. Sadiq Bey.
No defense.
Below the Patrick Williams line.
No, just because he's a better player overall. Maybe below Onyeka. In the same ballpark as Boyan. Same tier. Shooters that don't play defense.
Yeah, he's tough. Let's see. After Sadiq Bey, DeAndre Hunter. His contract is so bad.
Yeah.
And he's not
No, and he's not going to play this type of offense that OKC wants to play. So it's a no.
I'll put him right above Patrick Williams.
Yeah.
That's kind of where we're at. For those listening, I'll give you a quick recap before we're like halfway through, but we'll fire through the rest of these really fast because there's a lot of bad names going forward. But I'll just give you the top 10 of players that we think are worth considering at the trade deadline. Cameron Johnson, Al Horford, Bogdan Bogdanovic from the Hawks, Bruce Brown, Royce O'Neal, Jonathan Isaac, Mikal Bridges, Jordan Finney-Smith, Alex Caruso, Nick Claxton.
And just before you think that we are mad, it's not that Mikal is the 7th best player in this list. It's because we think it's not gettable, and we don't want to pay 2 prospect and 3 first-round picks to get him. And still, even with that price, he's still on the list. So this is how much we like him.
To him that he's still this high on our list.
Exactly.
Honestly, because I think it's important context for that, because it is like, obviously you'd rather have Mikal Bridges than Jonathan Isaac. Like, we're not idiots, like maybe we are idiots, but we're not idiots. But like the price for Jonathan Isaac is probably going to be minuscule compared to what Mikal Bridges is.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I'm bumping Jonathan Isaac out of this. I can't do this. DFS is better than Isaac. I'm sorry. I can't do this.
But DFS, you have to pay first. Jonathan Isaac is just maybe a second.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, maybe. I would rather pay the first and get a player that I know is good.
Okay.
And I know that
pay first. I would not pay a first for DFS.
You wouldn't pay a first?
No, seriously? I don't think that he moves. I don't think that after, 3 weeks ago.
Yes. We might as well just throw him off the list.
I don't think that he moves the needle that much.
Wow.
I think at first is the first. I mean, Bradley Beal went for 4 seconds and swaps.
Yeah, that was
I know.
Not a
but the first is the first.
Chance.
I know.
If he didn't have a no trade clause, there would have, and also Bradley Beal's contract is way more inflated. Like, there's a lot of reasons for that.
Mm.
Compare him to Robert Covington. Robert Covington in the past, who has gone for 2 firsts.
And how much did he help?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question.
How many minutes? Realistically, I know that everyone is killing me for that. How many minutes will DFS play on this team?
He would have. Oh, he played way more than 12.
Sure. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, I think so.
Are you getting this team? I think that our idea is that just because he has experience, he would play a lot. I don't buy that. Like, Dagnall will not stop playing Kizon Wallace. He may stop playing Mitsic. Maybe.
In the playoffs, though.
So I'm asking, over the next 2 months, he will get like 15 minutes? Maybe?
I don't think that you could trade for him and not play him more. I just don't think.
Where are the minutes? Like, Giddey's playing 22, 25 minutes already.
Yeah, I mean, you're making it like easier for me to like swallow the fact that I have him below Royce O'Neal and like Bogdan, all these guys, just because I agree with you that it's one, like you're making the case for this point alone is that it's not time to add a big piece to the roster
Yeah.
because there are too many questions left unanswered with some of these players. And like Casey Wallace could end up being just as valuable or more valuable than a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith is in the NBA. You know,
He
like
could be
that
in
could
this
happen,
postseason.
but it could be, but you have to like give yourself the opportunity to figure that out because you could undercut yourself a little bit by trading for somebody like Dorian Finney-Smith, where it's like it's a veteran, it's somebody that you feel like can help you. Maybe you cut somebody's minutes that could have flourished otherwise, which is why I like lean toward like they're going to make, if they do make a deal, it's going to be for somebody on like the Royce O'Neal, Al Horford level rather than the Cameron Johnson, Bogdanovich, DFS, Mikal Bridges level.
I think they would cut in the Kenrich minutes a bit.
Yeah. I think so too.
Which is not necessarily something that again, and I know that James Anderson is saying in the chat that Jang played 9 minutes, Wiggins 7, Mitsic 11. Do you want to give all those minutes to DFS? I would much rather have like Mitsic playing 16 minutes. He was awesome in those minutes. Like
yeah,
DFS is a guy that plays a role that is I would say waiting for someone else to create a shot. And
totally.
A, OKC doesn't want to play that way. And
Mhm.
B, yeah, I mean, he can play, but it's not like major minutes and it's not like changing. I mean, will DFS change the outlook of a series against the Clippers?
Maybe.
Maybe only one. Maybe it's the only one. Because against teams like the Mavericks, I really don't buy him being so much better than Dort against Luka. And yes, okay, I have another defender, but we are talking about specific playoff matchups that maybe OKC can't handle, and there is no data point that OKC needs a wing defender. If you
There's no
tell
doubt.
me
Yeah,
we
it's
need
true.
someone to be like in the matchups against the Sixers, the Nuggets, and the T Wolves, OKC needed someone off the bench because
Mhm.
the small lineups and chat were not enough. Like we
Mhm.
already have a data point of that. So like
Mhm.
at first, for someone that I'm not sure even I need, no. To me, it's a no.
Yeah,
Today
that's why
it
he's
was
6th,
maybe a
not like
yes
3rd.
10 games ago
Yeah.
because Giddy was awful.
Yeah, and Giddy's been better. And like Giddy has proven, and I know there's like still some like there's tons of Giddy detractors that exist, and I understand why, but like Giddy has proven in like big moments that he like shows up. Like he's not afraid,
Yeah,
you know, and he's a big time competitor. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. AJ Griffin.
Too late. Should have done it at the draft, not now.
Would you
The
put him
ship
in
is
the
sailed.
Sadiq Day zone?
Yeah, maybe a
Yeah.
bit better because maybe you pay him a little bit less. But
Yeah. It's been a perplexing situation with AJ.
yeah, if he doesn't play there, who knows?
PJ Washington. I put him
No.
like in the Okongwu zone.
Yeah,
He's a
and
fine
you have
player.
to. He's a fine player, but not. I mean, the idea of Washington is that he's a very good shooter, and it's actually depending on the situation, not really a stable shooter.
Yeah. And like, what is he as a defender? I have a lot of
A bad
questions.
one.
Yeah. Gordon Hayward.
A flyer as a salary dump, yes. I mean, if you strike this thing, like if Gordon somehow finds himself engaged and wants to play somehow,
Mm-hmm.
the price. I mean, probably like Charlotte would even love to like shed his money for free. They're already talking about getting him in the buyout
Yeah.
list. If you can get him for like
Yeah. If you're the Thunder, I think you. Oh, my wife is delivering me a treat. If you're the Thunder, I think you're not getting him on a buyout. Like he's going to go to the Lakers or
exactly.
whoever, you know. So you'd have to pay for him now.
Yeah, but
Like,
again, the pay is, hey, I'll give you less money than the ones that you give me,
yeah,
plus a
totally.
second.
And that's yeah. This is why this might be like one of my favorites
Yeah,
because
it's in the top 4 for me.
big wing that shoot, pass, and dribble. Really, really smart player.
Yeah.
Really smart player. He's making 31 million. You could cobble up enough salary to make it happen if you're the Thunder.
Yeah.
And if he plays, awesome. If he doesn't play too,
Who cares?
I don't think he cares. I don't think that anybody's gonna like throw a big fit if he doesn't play. I mean, this to me might be like, I mean, you could trade Trey, Poku, and Bertans
Yeah. And a
for
second.
Hayward. And like, you may not even have like the asset may be new ownership of the Charlotte Hornets.
Mhm.
We're gonna save you $6 million.
Yeah, and maybe Trey Man can play. Poor
And
Trey
maybe
Man,
Trey
though.
Man can actually play, and you guys can sign Poku to the max extension that he has pending.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Okay, I like him as a 4th/5th option. Actually doable.
Yeah, I think Hayward at 4 makes a ton of sense. I actually like him at 3 a little bit better. Like
Okay,
him and Horford, and they're kind of like the same kind of deal where it's like
Yeah.
veteran that like could fit with what they do, that
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily need a ton of minutes, but could come in and like provide experience and like steadiness for you if they're not hurt.
Except that Horford is not going to be pried away from the pride.
So do we put him at 2 then?
No, because I still like Al more and the idea of him. Hayward will not help against Jokic. It would be borderline unplayable against Jokic.
That's true.
Terry Rozier, hell no.
Rozier, I'll probably put at the bottom of the list just because
Yeah.
like I know too much, and I just don't think there's any chance they would ever trade for him. Kyle Kuzma, I like Kuz a lot, but
Yeah,
I'm
good
putting
job, 11th.
I'm putting him in the PJ Washington zone because like he's not going to know his role here. And,
exactly
like,
here. Exactly. Yeah. This is exactly it. I mean, if this was the Lakers saying, okay, you play with LeBron again, you just do your thing, play the way I say you to play. Great.
Mm-hmm.
Not wanting him anywhere near. Okay, see.
Yeah. Denny.
Whatever. DFS level, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, I think 8th.
Yeah, that's good.
Like he'd be fine. He's not gonna move the needle a ton. He is big. Like he's bigger.
Yeah. He can do a little bit of everything.
Yes, I was gonna say that too. He can do a little bit of everything, but like, is he elite at anything? Like he's a little bit of the Jeff Green corollary. I think he's gonna play in the league for a long time. But like, is he ever gonna be like a top 6 or 7 player on your team? Like, probably not.
No.
Kispert?
Nope. Doing a little bit too little on defense and passing.
Yeah.
Shooters that I don't want to have.
Yeah. Gafford?
God, no. I don't know why everybody is in love with Gafford.
I don't either. I don't get it. He's not that good.
No.
Moose, who has now been moved to the Pistons.
Sure, on a buyout, yes.
Yeah, bring Moose home. Bring him home. Put him in the PJ Washington zone.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, come on, a little bit better.
Really?
We know that Moose can play. Yeah.
All right. Shout out to Moose, who's going above Onyeka Okongwu now. Shout out Moose. I like Moose. Landry Shamet.
God, no.
Let's put him in the Torrey Craig zone.
Yeah.
Kelly Olynyk.
Sure, but
we know. I also think like him actually being moved is becoming less and less likely as the Jazz continue to like roll.
Yeah, he's not. It's a nice idea. Same as he's in the same ballpark as Horford. He's less of ideal as a trade candidate than Horford, but equally not gettable.
Yeah, for sure. And like people are like, why aren't you talking about Lauri Markkanen? We talked about this earlier. Like he's not going to be traded. He was actually just named Player of the Week for the Western Conference. Like that guy's not being moved. It's just not going to happen. As much as people want to talk about it. PJ Tucker, I'll put him in the Otto Porter Jr. zone.
Oh
There.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Russell Westbrook.
In the Terry Rozier realm.
Wow, I'll put him just above Terry Rozier. They're just not doing it, and he's not doing it either. Saric,
8th, 7th, 6th. I don't know.
yeah,
That
I put him
area.
above DFS because I don't think it would cost as much, and I think like we know he can play.
Yeah. I don't like the way OKC looked with him on the court, to be honest.
Yeah, he's
I
all
don't
right.
like the defense. Yeah, he's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's all right. Moses Moody, I
Same
think
ballpark as AJ Griffin and
yeah,
Sadiq Bey.
yeah, I'll put him above those guys just because I like
Just
him. And
because you want Perk to say Moses Moody twice in a game.
I want Park to say Moses Moody. Also, he played at Arkansas. We can continue to acquire some Arkansas players. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's good.
Andrew Wiggins.
So I know that I proposed this a while ago in our group chat. My thinking was, he's 6'8". He can defend. I don't believe how bad he is. It was like we were 20 games in.
Mm-hmm.
He's worse than that.
Yeah,
I think that he could get better because I mean a player doesn't just learn how not to shoot the basketball. I really worry about the fit in terms of being able to read and react.
Yeah.
So this has to say that the incentive should be so high for OKC to even thinking about him.
Yeah, you get a pick.
One, I would not do it for one.
You
to
get
be fair,
2 picks. You take him.
I would actually start thinking about it. But
his contract, people kind of have raved about it. It's become a lot worse since he's been a lot worse. He makes $30 million in 26, 27.
No. Let's just say no.
Player option.
Yeah, but again, why the trouble if you're OKC? Like, why are you doing this? Like, no, he doesn't fit.
No,
you have enough picks. No, just no.
Yeah, I'm with you. I would put him. I put him in the Boyan zone.
Yeah.
Let's see who's next. Andrew Wiggins, Rashawn Holmes can go in the Gafford zone.
Yes.
Even below him because he's just not that good. Santi Aldama. Have any Aldama thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he has some juice, but he's a player. You may want to get him now, but you have to pay him, I think, soon enough. Maybe not a ton, but you have to. And sure, yeah, it's not for this year though. He's not the guy who's putting over the hump playoff wise.
No. I know, and there were rumors that the Thunder had interest in him. He's an okay but not great shooter.
Yeah,
he's an okay but not great passer.
Below Onyeka Okongwu.
Yeah, I'm just not that interested in him, to be honest.
I'm not interested in Kyle Kuzma, so it's fine to put him there.
Yeah.
Oh boy, the list becomes gruesome. John Conchar.
No. Put Conchar in the Otto Porter zone, honestly. I mean, he can't even play on this Memphis team.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot. Chetty Osman also in the same zone.
Yeah.
Keldon Johnson.
No,
put him
not
in DeAndre Hunter, Patrick Williams group. That feels like the right group for him. I think he's a good player, but like not for this team.
He's better than both of those guys probably, but not really interesting.
I can put him above.
Even maybe better than Corey Kispert. And
I was about to say I might put him
in the Sadiq Bey zone,
right here, below Boyan, because I think Boyan's better than him. But I just don't think he could play on this team. I just don't think. McDermott,
Corey Kispert area, slightly above or below.
Yeah, I put him above, just because he has a great name.
Yeah.
his former college teammate is on the coaching staff. Kevin Love, who I just don't think is even like a true.
I think that Love would fit a lot of what they do in terms of passing, in terms of shooting, in terms of not playing any defense whatsoever. I don't think that
We
it
put him in the
fits.
Scala zone.
Yeah, in the Muscala zone is fine.
Yeah,
Again, he doesn't want to come to OKC,
yeah.
so
That's a
and
major thing.
he's fine in Miami. I mean, they actually need him in Miami, so why
Yeah, they do.
is not going to be available?
Yeah, they do. Okay, and Jeff Green,
Yeah, he's too old
he's way too old.
to play this kind of fast-paced offense. He's surely smart, and if you want to have a veteran there, sure, whatever. But he may play like you get him in a series where you just need something, and maybe he has a game. This
Yeah.
is the kind of player that we are discussing. And
Yeah.
Brandon Clark, hell no. Like Brandon Clark is not a guy that will play the way in which OKC wants. Is he productive? Sure. Can he put up rebounds and second chance opportunities? Sure. Mark will probably like destroy him before like the second minutes of the third game that he plays. I just don't buy the. I mean, even at Gonzaga, he again he was really really productive and efficient, but
Mm-hmm.
not the way OKC wants to play.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Ricky Mickey 2 in the chat. Zach Collins. Where'd you put Zach Collins on this list?
I'm the wrong person to ask. I really
Yeah.
have a thing for Zach. I really like him. I really like him a lot.
Would you put him above or below Nick Claxton?
I can't say because
You
I
have to.
used to scout him a lot when he was at Gonzaga, and I really loved him there. And like I thought that he was one of the most modern, hard, gifted like big men that I scouted, and he didn't come to fruition. So the image of in my head of that player is still there. I don't know if he's real or not.
I think he's a pretty good player, but I mean it's a little bit of a red flag that like he and Wimby like couldn't play together. That it was like, oh, once you remove him, like he's purely a backup center, like because they were just awful them together. But I like him too. Available, I would put him kind of in the middle there. We can go back to the super chat. So, and I think my answers are the same. Of the players on the final list, which team do you want to start losing so the player is available via trade? So like the guys we have, like one out, like the Celtics, the only way the Celtics are giving up Al Horford is in a Kelly Olynyk deal. In which case, like if you're the Jazz and you're in it, you may just want to keep Horford.
Mm-hmm.
So it just may not.
I don't buy that trade. I think I buy it a little bit more. With Utah not playing anything resembling good basketball, but right now I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really buy it either. So like it's the Nets really need to continue losing. The Hawks need to continue to lose. Like those are probably the two most realistic teams that could be like, hey, come take our talent. We'll take back draft picks. Like those two teams make the most sense. The Hornets are already there with Hayward. Like Hayward would probably love to have just a different landing spot in general. But yeah, it's those teams. And so just to recap real quick, I'll give like the top 20 or maybe just the top 10 because it just doesn't really matter, honestly. Cam Johnson, Al Horford, Gordon Hayward, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Kelly Olynyk, Bruce Brown, Royce O'Neal, Dario Saric, Dorian Finney-Smith, Denny Avdia, Mikal Bridges is 11th. So, and like what this exercise is kind of like is interesting for. I know this is a long show, but we're almost done. Is the fact that like the guys we're talking about that are actually gettable that the Thunder like could acquire, like a lot of these guys aren't like truly like difference makers. You
Yeah.
know, like Hayward's not that much of a difference maker. You know, like you even argue like Dorian Finney-Smith is like it's possible that he's not that much of a difference maker. Like to me, it like more signals that like, hey, this team probably just needs to take what they have to the playoffs. And like maybe you could
Yeah.
add a small piece here or there, but like all these like big time difference makers and like all these guys that could be available, like there's just not a whole lot of meat on the bone here. And there's just not somebody like that you would think like, oh my gosh, like they're definitely going to come in here and like make such a big difference. Like Cam Johnson's the one where you're like, yeah, like a big 6'8" shooter. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Who doesn't
like that's
rebound,
great.
as a lot of guys noted in the chat. I mean, we
Yeah,
are
it
aware
doesn't
of that.
rebound. Like he's not going to come in here. No one's going to come in here and solve the rebounding issue because the Thunder aren't. It's also like more of like a team rebounding issue. It's not like a single player rebounding issue.
Yeah,
It's like a team
exactly.
rebounding issue that needs to be solved within the team. And they've gotten better, as time has gone on. They've gotten better, and they have a chance to even get better as the season goes. But like this kind of reinforces that like if something's going to happen, it's going to be small.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to involve guys like Trey Mann and Poku and Bertans. And like, do they bring back somebody that's helpful or not? Like, I think the Gordon Hayward deal makes so much sense for both teams, in that the Hornets get a chance to like try out some other guys,
Mhm.
as the season goes on. Gordon Hayward gets to like play on a playoff team, and he could play a big role, small role, whatever ends up happening. Like maybe Kaysen and them are ready to play in the playoffs, and it's like, hey, sorry, Gordon, like you're going to be waving a towel. Or maybe those guys aren't ready, and Gordon's healthy, and it's like, yeah, we kind of need you to be our 7th or 8th guy, And then if he is, like, you're in really good shape. So like to me, that's the one that just like screams it makes the most sense of
Mhm.
any of these, and it's because it's just like, hey, let's move around like the back end of the roster salary. You
Yeah.
know, you can give, Lindy a deal for the rest of the season. Like you find a way to fill out the rest of the roster. But to me, that makes the most sense. And it's a deal that ultimately could mean nothing. Like it could
Yeah.
end up meaning nothing, which is kind of where I think the Thunder are at. Like they are really good. Second in net rating. This is a team that doesn't need to like make a major mix up. And if you can do it by just trading Bertans, Poku, Trey, moving on from those guys, and then like honestly, it could be a really good deal for the Thunder in that they can, bring up Lindy and Sar if you wanted to, sign them for the rest of the season, and then like you could bring in 2 more two-ways to kind of bring into the mix and kind of see what you got. It's to me that it's a deal that just makes so much sense in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Where like I think the writing is on the wall for guys like Trey and Poku. Like it's if it's going to happen, it's not going to be here. I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
Um,
especially with Poku. I mean, it's
he
it's
doesn't even,
it's
he's not a part of the team that dresses for games anymore. He's
yeah,
warming up
exactly.
for every game, but like he's sitting over there in sweats. So yeah, I think it's a really good exercise to just like reinforce that it's not the time, for something big to happen. And I'll reiterate it again, like offensively, you just have to be a really smart player to integrate quickly into this team, or else
Um,
it's just not going to work.
quick question. Do you think that Dallas has any interesting in like removing one of the big men that are close to the same, like Powell or Kleba or stuff like that?
I don't know.
Maybe it's
I
doing
mean,
something else like
Eva would be
r-
great.
yeah. So guys like that even paying for them. Like Powell is Powell, I just love the intensity, the tenacity, the fact that he's a very versatile defender. Health for both guys is kind of scary.
Yeah,
Those guys, I don't know what Dallas wants to do. I think that they will move a little bit. Maybe it's not like just doing it directly, but say that they are after guys like Gordon Hayward, or I would actually doubt that. But maybe a guy like Cam Johnson. Not that they have big assets to do so, but maybe they
yeah,
do something on the margin, and like the fill in for that trade is a guy like Powell, or maybe
yeah,
they would try for a guy like Clint Capella. Why not? Like,
yeah. I am not a Dwight Powell guy. I'd rather just
yeah,
play
I know
Ken.
that you're not.
I'd just way rather play Kenrich than Powell.
Okay. I
You'd
I
have, you'd have
understand.
to, you'd have to incentivize the Thunder to take back Dwight Powell, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
Kleba's a different. Like Kleba could play. Like he could play for this team.
I think
Like
they
he
both can
does. Like
play,
he
but yeah.
does a lot of thundery things. He shoots it though. Like that's just such
I
a
know. I
such a huge
It's
difference between the two.
it is a difference. Yes.
It's a good thought though.
Is
I would
he
put
completely cooked? Does he
who
play?
who
Kleba.
he's been hurt.
Yeah. I wonder
Um,
how badly.
I honestly I've not kept up with the Maxi Kleba. Um, dude, he hasn't hardly played at all this season.
Yeah.
Um,
November 11th, a couple of
he's
weeks.
played
Toe
100 minutes.
injury.
Yeah, he's played 100 minutes, and he's not been good since he's returned. Toe injury
Nice.
is a tough one. Yeah, his shooting splits. You want to hear?
Yeah.
26, 27, 60. Yeah.
Nice. It can't go
Nice.
worse.
Cannot be worse.
Yeah.
Cannot be worse. Yeah.
Wow, 26, 27. That is wow. Great. We played one game like 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was like very sparse minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Well, I like our list. Shout out to
So you're not
455.
putting Kleba
I
on our
do
list?
like, huh?
You're not putting Kleba on our list? Like, I don't
mean,
know, below Isaac? Below Claxton? I don't know. There?
Yeah, I put him below Claxton.
Okay.
I put Maxi Kleba on our list. I mean, it's a buy low opportunity.
Yeah.
Why do you spell his name? Kleber. Kleber. Yeah, people call him Kleber. Yeah, I like that idea, but I think that I like guys like Claxton, Caruso. Man, we're way too high on Jonathan Isaac. I think.
Yeah,
that's the one that I just don't like, but I also don't care. I think it's a fun exercise that kind of reiterates that, like, hey, I think we're good.
Yeah.
I think we're good. I think we're good to go. And like, let's see what this team does in the playoffs. It will be more apparent over the course of a 7-game series or two, like what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you have the opportunities to like go get a lot of these guys in the offseason, like the group of guys that we're talking about. It's not some like crazy group that you just like couldn't get in on,
Yeah.
So I think
they will have a lot of opportunities. And again, maybe like right now, teams that have clear number 3, number 4 guys and are competitive are not going to move them. Like a team like Houston will not move Jabari Smith, for example, which I know that doesn't do many of the things that OKC likes, but he's a guy that would fit perfectly offensively for this team in terms of spacing the floor. Guys, I don't. I know that they will never get him. I know. Who knows what happens in Minnesota? Maybe they have to make a choice because they are a first round exit because they get the Mavs and they lose. And maybe they say, okay, how do we improve this? Can we move McDaniels, for example, or an Naz Reid? I don't know. Guy, which I'm not interested in since I didn't protect him in my show with Al back in the days. So next summer, I think OKC will have a lot of opportunities to cash in some of those picks. If you can get a guy like Gordon Hayward for nothing, do it. Like if it costs you this is why I don't want to invest like a first for DFS, because then it's 2 firsts for this guy and 3 firsts for this guy.
Sure.
You run out very, very quickly. And if DFS is someone that Mark thinks, hey, we can play in 30 because we can play him as a backup 5, and I think that he's way better than Ken Rich.
Yeah,
because he's a better shooter.
There's just no way that's even true.
If this is what Mark thinks, then sure, pay it first. If we'll play him instead of Wiggins Jang and Mitchell. Those minutes are not playoffs minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just
We're
not.
going to play him instead of Case and Wallace, and he'll take some of Isaiah Joe's minutes.
Yeah, which
that's what it would be.
I think it's kind of BS. But
yeah, it's like just reinforces the fact that it's just probably not time to do it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Long show here on Martin Luther King Day. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hey, if you could do me a favor, I posted this on Twitter. I'll retweet it too. My friend Kim Metcalf has stage 4 melanoma, and it's really bad. And she has twins. Her husband is a friend of the show and a friend in life. Her parents are good friends of mine as well. So if you could just take time to look at that, pray for them. If you have some extra money to send to them, they could really use it. And I know the Down to Dunk community has always stepped up in moments like this. So I would really, it would mean a lot to me if you would do that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks so much for listening to the show. Let us know also in the comments on YouTube if there's anybody that you think that we have too high, too low, if there's somebody else that we should have brought up. Let us know in the comments. Let us know on Twitter. Hit us up. We're probably wrong. So just let us know. And, we went over 48 names, 48 names? Yeah, 48 names. I look forward to seeing Sam trade for somebody who's not on this list. Can't wait to see who it is. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you guys again on Wednesday.